Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. You know me. I'm Karen Buechs, your host for the evening. Tonight's a little bit different. I have someone here that I admire very much. Not that my other guests I don't admire, but he's from out of town. He used to be a rep in the southern sector of Plymouth, and now he is the representative of the 5th District, Barnstable. Please welcome Stephen Xiarhos.
Thank you. It's an honor to be in America's hometown. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Stephen. This is wonderful having you here.
I'm proud to be here.
Oh, and I know you're a busy guy because I watch you on Facebook. You're everywhere.
Yes.
I know. But you're out of the 5th District.
Yes.
Where is that 5th District? Barnstable?
Yeah, it's 45,000 people from Barnstable to Buzzards Bay.
Right.
So West Barnstable, Marston's Mills, all of Sandwich, and about 3/4 of Bourne.
Bourne.
And I used to have part of Plymouth, that's right.
Right.
But they redistricted, and
Right.
now I don't.
Right.
But I love it. And we're called the Fighting Fifth.
The Fighting Fifth, I love it.
Barnstable District.
I love it. And you used to be a policeman in Yarmouth.
Yes, for 40 years. I used to have a full head of hair, mustache. I started, at age 19, and I went from a patrol officer to school resource officer, detective, sergeant,
Wow.
lieutenant, and retired as the deputy chief in 40 years.
Wow, good for you. Now, you must know Tim Whalen.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's a mentor, and he was one of the people that came to me and said, Steve, we need you to run.
Oh.
And I said, well, I'm the deputy chief. He says, no, when you're ready, we need you.
Yeah,
And
I love him.
he's
He
a
has
great
since
man.
moved to Plymouth.
Yes.
And we're lucky to have him.
He's a great man. Corrections officer, United States Marine, state representative.
Yeah.
Just a great man.
Yeah, I interviewed him here a few weeks ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a great man. And a state trooper.
And a state
a
trooper.
life of service.
A life of, he believes in that.
Yes.
There are people like us
Yes.
that believe in that.
That's comes normal to me. Service before self. I don't look at money. I'm not a business type mind. Just a servant. And I think it comes from my parents and the way
Right.
we were raised.
Right. And, well, I'm fortunate to know you. Now, I met you at the Living Museum
Yes.
in West Barnstable, the train station,
Yes.
where my sister and brother-in-law run that, help run that, and you came with a check.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah, well, part of my story, I was a police officer for 40 years. Now I am the state representative, which I love, for 4 years. But my biggest role is to be a dad, a father. I was blessed with 4 children, but I lost my son Nick in Afghanistan in the war. So I'm called a Gold Star father.
Yeah.
And that was 15 years ago. He fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, and on May 15th, 2009, I gave him the biggest hug, and I didn't want to let him go, but he was going to the buses, to the planes, to go to war. And I never saw him again. I've never seen his body, nothing. So.
How old was he?
21, yeah.
A baby.
Yeah, a Marine. So this is him. And
he's so handsome.
Yeah, he was just a good kid, and I miss him, and I'll never be the same, but we try our best to use his story to help others. So
yes, talk about that.
When you lose someone, there's all kinds of emotion, grief, and some people become introverts or depressed. I became just me and more of service. I've always been service related, love my country, always, but someone said, Steve, this galvanized your love for country. And I said, yeah, it did. And so we ride motorcycles, Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen. We do road races, and it's all volunteers. So every penny that comes in goes into an account. There's no overhead, and we give it out. So on that day, I could tell that they needed some money to help keep that building going.
Yeah.
So I came with a check for
Thank
$1,000 to help, and
Yeah.
we can do that every year. We go all over trying to give away money to help people.
Give to
Yeah.
help people.
Yes.
Tell me more about your son.
He was my first child, Nicholas. He loved just being a regular guy, like you learn about later. I just got a message the other day, a matter of fact, an email. He said, "You don't know me, but I worked at Stop and Shop, and your son was the cashier and I was the bagger." Now, I just got this story because it was Veterans Day.
Sure.
And this kid said, "I was bullied, and your son always stood up for me." And he said, "Your son was a hero before he put on a uniform." So this just came to me on Veterans Day. So
He was raised well.
he would not just, if somebody was in trouble, he'd help them. And if somebody was bullying someone, especially a girl, that would end. So that when we were attacked on September 11th, he was 12. And he said, "Dad, I'm going to become a Marine and I'm going to fight for my country." And as soon as he turned 17, he went to the recruiter, and the recruiter came to us. We had to sign the papers because he was too young.
Yeah.
But we did, and he went off to be a Marine, infantry. He went to Iraq, and he was almost killed in Iraq, but 2 Marines saved his life. They died doing it.
Oh.
And then he went to Afghanistan, and a bomb killed Nick, killed his buddies, took the legs off of his friend, and a flash of a second, a horrible thing happened. So the flag means a lot to me, the Pledge of Allegiance, our national anthem. We live a good life. We're Americans, but we got to live worthy of the sacrifices made, by men and women.
For us.
For us, yes. So, live a good life, be a good person.
Tell me about this ride, which is very popular.
Yes. So I never rode a motorcycle in my life.
Oh my goodness, you got on a motorcycle?
Yeah. And during the funeral, I was in the funeral car with my wife, Lisa, and my other kids, which is Alex, and my twins, Elizabeth and Ashlyn. So Nick was 21, Alex was 19, and my twins were 15, and we were in the funeral. And I was just thinking, I don't think I can get through this.
I know.
And then I heard the sound of a motorcycle, and I don't remember seeing much. I think I was in like shock.
Yes, of course.
But I heard a motorcycle. We were being escorted. And I looked at Lisa and I said, "Do you hear that?" And she said, "Yes," And I said, "We're not alone." It just made me feel like we weren't alone.
Right.
And when everything was done, the Marines came to me and they said, "Steve, we want to do a ride for Nick in his memory." And I said, "I don't even know how to ride." He said, "Just say yes, and we'll teach you and we'll do it." So they taught me on a rented bike in a parking lot, and then the ride started. I was the last one out of 300 shaken because I'd never been on the street. And, you're escorted for 35 miles, and there's people, saluting and cheering. And that was the first year with 300 motorcycles. And then I went and bought my own Harley. And now, 15 years later, it's the biggest event on Cape Cod. It's every July.
It is. I hear about it.
And now there's 1,500 motorcycles, and I'm in the lead. And the state police helicopter flies above us, and thousands of people along the way saluting, crying, cheering. It's really become something, but every penny that we collect, we give away, and we do it on his birthday. So
Which is?
Went February 12th.
Oh, yeah.
Nick, let's say he'll be 36 next time. We will give out 36,000 grants to people all over Cape Cod and beyond in his memory. And so that's the best way we could do it. And I've taught others. Sadly, people die, and a lot of veterans take their lives. That's what this is. This is called a 22 kill ring. So you buy it for $22. It's fitted to your trigger finger.
Oh,
And it's
beautiful.
because it's 22 a day. 22 veterans take their life every day.
Oh.
So we just lost a Marine from Sandwich. He's 29. He was Nick's friend. He took his life.
Oh,
But I'm there for those parents to try to give them strength. So that's the part of freedom. And now it's Veterans, Day and Marine Corps birthday. So my life is kind of bittersweet. You're proud, but you're also sad.
he's very proud of you. Yeah. Where does that ride start?
It starts at the Barnstable County Sheriff's Office in
Okay.
Bourne.
Yeah,
And why it's there is because the National Cemetery's there.
right.
There's 75,000 veterans resting there, including Nick.
The flags go up.
Yeah, we just put up 75,000 flags.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful spot. So it starts there and it rides along the canal,
Oh,
along Route 6A through Bourne, Sandwich, Barnstable, and the crowds. It's like a 35-mile parade. And then it ends back
they
in
know
Yarmouth.
you're coming.
They know, they wait, they put their chairs out. People buy sponsorships. It's become like an incredible thing. And it's all volunteers. We start in January. We meet every week
Wow.
until the event. And it's become special. And riding has become therapeutic for me. So riding the motorcycle is good for my mental health. And just like horses and
Sure.
having animals. So we'll help fund animal programs. And we do a lot to help others, which is kind of how I was raised, but it got stronger when we lost Nick.
You're Greek.
Yes,
I'm
100%.
I'm Armenian, 100%. It's the same thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just about, and it's the same type of raising
Yes.
of children and
Yes.
country and
Yes,
God and
yes.
all of that.
That's all like normal to me.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, you got like this after. I said, no,
No,
I've always been
you've
like that.
always-
But that woman said, no.
That's where he got it. from
Yes.
you.
And sometimes I feel guilty about that.
Oh, don't. Please don't. God has his way. He needed him.
Yeah, to that point. So it's been 15 years, but year 8, at the end of Big Nick's ride, year 8, I'll never forget it because you end, it's 35 miles. I go from smiling to crying to smiling.
Absolutely.
And at the end, you're done and 1,000 motorcycles pull in and I was crying. And a man came up to me and he said, Steve, what's wrong? And I said, Paul, he was a Gold Star father. He lost his son. I said, I just don't know why. And he said, what do you mean? I said, why did God do this? Why did God take Nick? And he said, I'll tell you why. And he put me on the tailgate of his son's truck. There's a song, I Drive Your Truck, by Lee Brice. That's the truck. Yeah, that's real. So Jared Monty was killed in Afghanistan. His dad drives his truck. He drives the truck every year in Big Nick's ride.
Oh.
And at the end, I sat on the tailgate. He put his arm around me and he said, Steve, like, God saw Nick doing good things and he needed to take him to do great things. And like this heat went through my body and it helped me understand there's a bigger purpose.
Of course there is.
So that moment I'll never forget.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know if I can go on. This is magnificent.
Yeah. So, and when it comes to politics, I'm still learning. I'm a servant.
You're a baby.
Yeah, politics is different.
It's a blood sport.
I didn't know that. I thought you just go and you serve.
No.
And someone pulled me aside and
Yeah.
said, hey, Steve, like, you got to realize this is different.
Yeah, it's
you
a
gotta
blood
stop thinking like a
sport.
cop. They
Yeah.
said to me, you got to, I go, what do you mean? I said, well, you think everybody's trying to like work
Help.
together. And I
Yeah.
said, yes. He goes, no, it's different.
Yeah.
But I haven't changed. You just stay true to who you are.
I see you on Facebook.
Yeah, work with
you
everybody.
don't stop. There isn't a day that you don't do anything.
I haven't been away in 5 years. I haven't stopped in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I need to take a break. So motorcycling for a day helps. Running, I do road races. But sometimes it's good to get away because everywhere I go, somebody
Oh, yes.
wants to talk or put their troubles kind of on me. That happens a lot.
Does your phone blow up?
24 hours a day.
Yeah. Do you like that? I couldn't take that.
Yeah, I keep it on silent.
Yeah.
Remember, our job is 10% is making laws and
Yeah.
approving budgets, which I love, but most of it is helping people.
Right.
That's the part that I didn't realize, that a lot of people come to me for help, like a job or food or clothes or their driver's license. Like, it never ends, ever. And then I'll get people from other districts reaching out, and I'll say, well, I'm not your rep. Yeah, but you get things done. So I have to manage all that.
Yeah.
And I love doing it, but sometimes it's overwhelming.
I can relate to that, but I'm not your rep, but I need you.
Yes.
And that used to happen to Matt Moratori all the time.
Matt is a great
devastated.
man. He's
Yeah.
a great man. And when I started 4 years ago, I had Plymouth, like we talked, and Matt took me under his wing.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He introduced me to Vinny DiMacedo, who's a great guy too.
Great guy.
So I got to meet that world, and Matt said, hey, Steve, you're doing great, but you should slow down a little bit. He told me
Yeah.
that years ago.
He didn't want something happening to you.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
He cares about others.
That's why I couldn't believe some people in Plymouth voted against themselves. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
Because Matt brought in millions of dollars. I'm not talking hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And he was just so helpful. He helped so many people.
And that's in his heart. And so Matt and I are House of Representative colleagues.
Yeah.
Now he lost, unfortunately.
Well,
and now
the other guy had Healy.
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff to the machine.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money. Not always, the best person doesn't always win.
Right.
It's a big machine. I had a tough race, and I was hoping.
They came
and
after
praying.
you?
Oh, yes, they did, yeah. Because I don't just go along. Like, I'll ask questions.
Oh, you don't look like,
Yeah, I stand up for the average Joe. You're
Yeah.
the blue collar worker. and
Right.
What's right? I love America. I love, public safety, military, and I'm not shy about it. But you got to listen to everybody, because not everybody sees that, and you work together, and we've been very successful. But I was told that, that they're targeting me and they're going to take me out. But we worked hard. We got 62% of the vote. And I'm very proud of that, because I would be sad not to do this work. It's a blessing. But Matt, I feel bad. But maybe there's a bigger plan.
I hope so.
Yes, because he has a good heart.
Yeah.
And he was successful, especially as a Republican in a state house that is one-sided.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's 171 to 29.
Yeah.
And I would say everybody's good, but it needs to be more balanced.
That's right.
And that way you can find common ground and all. It's fascinating, but God bless Matt. He's not done yet.
No, he's not. If I have anything to say about it. He was in he sat on the finance committee, and I told him to run for selectman. He thought I was crazy, but he did, and he won.
Yes.
And he was a wonderful selectman.
Well, you saw that in him.
Oh, I saw it right away.
Yeah, see, we don't always see it, and that's what I said. Tim Whalen came to me and said, Steve,
you
no.
see it. There's something.
Yeah.
And you won't say it to a person that you think is greedy or is ego-driven.
Yeah, no, that's true. They saw, and you know who else did? Governor Baker.
Oh, yes.
He was a great friend. And remember, I lost my son Nick in the war, but I also lost Sean Gannon. That is why I ran.
The officer.
Remember, that is I would be the chief of police.
My son loved him.
Yep, Sean Gannon, my officer. I sent Sean on a mission to get a really bad criminal with 125 prior crimes. We don't even use his name.
Yeah.
So that's the system. It's too weak with these criminals. And we had to go try to arrest this guy. We knew he had guns, and we knew he was selling drugs. He was hiding in an attic. He shot and killed my officer, Sean Gannon,
I remember
32
it.
years old. And he shot Nero, our dog. When the dog went to protect Sean, this evil person shot Nero in the head.
He was going up the attic
Yep.
stairs.
Yeah, they were in the attic.
Yep.
And, there were 7 officers. It was horrible. So
It's horrible.
I was there. Those are my people. And I was there when Nero was carried out, bleeding to death. He was still alive. He was swallowing his blood, trying to live. And nobody would help that dog. I stood right there. All the EMTs, all the ambulances parked. Sean had gone to the hospital. He died. We had to get the criminal. We got him out finally.
Why wouldn't they help the dog?
It was against the law. So I saw that. So we took Nero, put him in a cruiser, and a doctor jumped in the back seat, a real doctor, kept him alive, and we brought him to the vet, and Nero lived. So Nero, I was there a week later. Nero was in the hospital. The cops were guarding him all night, all day. He wouldn't eat. Sean had died. We were planning Sean's funeral. And we were
Nightmare.
worried that Nero was going to die.
Yeah.
And then someone brought Sean's uniform
Oh,
and had Nero smell his
good
uniform.
idea.
And that made him want to eat.
Revived
He
him.
started to eat. And then on day 7, Nero was coming out of the hospital to go home. We brought Sean's cruiser to the hospital. I was standing right there. Nero came out, skinny as a rail, stitches from here to here. And he saw Sean's cruiser, and he was looking for Sean.
Of course.
And then I opened the back door, and Nero jumped in where he goes, and he started licking Sean's headrest. That's why I ran for office. I had to fix it. So we wrote Nero's Law, and we passed it.
Yeah.
So now 20,000 EMTs and paramedics had to get trained in canine first aid. And now, if a police dog or military dog is injured in the line of duty,
They can do something.
they can protect him, save him, and put him in an ambulance, a real ambulance, and bring him to the vet. So that's the way we took a
I'm
tragedy.
going to stop bawling any minute here.
That's my life.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen just to me, right? Everybody had to vote. So Matt Moratori voted for it.
Yeah.
Kathy Lenatra is from here.
Yeah,
Everybody came together
of
to
course.
make Nero's Law, and that's Massachusetts history. And then I went to Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Connecticut and testified.
And did the same
passed them there,
thing?
yeah, with Sean's mother and father.
Oh,
So that's why, like, my life is kind of different. It's not the typical, maybe, politician world. I'm more of a servant and a protector. And if I see something wrong, I'm going to do something about it.
oh my God, Stephen. Unbelievable. You were destined to do this.
Yeah, some people have said that. I always thought police, right? From
It was
patrol
a
guy to
stepping
chief.
stone.
Yes, that's interesting. Like, I love this. And it's hard. And people call you names. They
I
threaten
know.
my family. They
Tell
threaten
me.
my family. They
Yeah.
disrespect Nick.
Yeah,
Some people have done all that.
they're sick.
Yes, and I try to say, why would you do that? And sometimes I've had people say, well, Steve, that's politics.
Oh,
And I
that's,
said, no, you don't have to vote for me, but you disrespect my son or
yeah,
my kids. Like,
yeah.
that's not politics.
No, that's
but that's
evil.
sometimes an excuse that they use. So Governor Baker taught me a trick. He said, Steve, ignore the noise.
Yeah, it's noise.
Yes, ignore it. Stick to what you're trying to do. Work with others. I'll never forget, he told me 4 things because I didn't know how do I do this? And then Governor Baker is telling me,
Yeah.
remember these 4 things. Ignore the noise because there's a lot of noise in Washington or wherever.
Yeah,
Ignore it.
Ignore it.
2, stick to your mission. What are you trying to do?
yeah.
3, reach across the aisle. And 4, get it done.
Oh,
So
great advice.
it is. And where it came together was Sean is killed. I become state representative. We passed Nero's Law. Governor Baker is so proud. He says, Steve, where do you want me to sign the law? And I said, well, could you come to the police station? Because in a few weeks, it's going to be the 4-year anniversary. He said, I'd be proud to. So Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, a lot of politicians, 50 police dogs, Sean's mother, father, widow, and Nero were in a building, and there's Governor Baker, and he's got Sean's prayer card. I'll never forget it. And he said, folks, I've been carrying this card for 4 years, and it's taken us 4 years to make this law. And Steve, congratulations, you did it. And maybe it's good that it took 4 years, because I'm going to sign this law in Sean's house. Because we were in the building we named after Sean.
Oh.
And he sat down and signed the law in front of Nero and his family in a building we built in Sean's memory on the 4-year anniversary.
Oh, my.
So sometimes that's part of what's meant to be.
Yes, it is meant to be.
Yes.
It's a plan.
Yes, we may not always see it, but that's why I just keep serving and never lose your integrity.
That's right. Your integrity is yours to lose, and never lie.
Never.
You might not say something.
Yeah. Well, in police world, right, you never lie. If you
Yeah.
lie as a police officer,
you're
you're
over.
fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get fired for lying.
Right.
So lying is something we don't do. But sometimes you just can't tell everybody the whole story.
Right.
Because it's under
That's
investigation.
fine.
Yes, but you never lie, never sell yourself out. You get pulled in a lot of directions in this world. Just stay true. And it makes it easy if you just stay true.
I'll tell you, I go by the Yarmouth police station a lot. I go visit my son. He's in Yarmouth, West Yarmouth. And I always think about his friend, and because Scott still talks about him.
Yeah, everybody loves Sean. He's only 32 years old, right? And part of the story is Sean had Nero. We used to train the dogs somewhere else. Nero scared someone, and they called the police and said, look, Sean and Nero, they scared me. They were training in the woods. So Sean and I stood in the woods at Yarmouth Police Station, and he said, Deputy, what if we build something here where we can train our dogs here instead of going anywhere, right? We started to clear the land, and he was murdered. He got murdered. And the chief said, we're going to build that building, and we did it. So there's a beautiful $1 million building behind Yarmouth Police Station.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, where the dogs and the police train. It's the Sean Gannon Memorial Canine Police Training Center, and that was Sean's dream. We stood in the woods, and he said, what if we trained here? And then he was murdered, and we said, we're going to do it. So we've done it,
You wouldn't think that, Yarmouth is such a sleepy little town.
Yarmouth is busy, yeah.
Yeah, but now.
It's always been because we have 75 liquor establishments and
Holy
4,000
mackerel.
motel rooms. It's a tourist-like place. So it was busy, always busy.
I love this, and I'm going to show the show again.
Okay.
At his birthday.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And if anybody wants to inquire about this, how do they get there?
Yeah, you can Google Big Nick's Ride, www.bignicksride.org.
Okay.
Just Google Nick Xiarhos. We have a foundation in his memory. We do motorcycle riding, road racing. I was just in Plymouth on Sunday at CrossFit 1620, somewhere around here. We did a hero workout in Nick's memory for an hour, and they donated $2,500.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so.
I have your card at home.
Yes,
I want to thank you so much, Stephen, for coming tonight. You were an exceptional guest. You made me cry.
Yeah.
But you have a wonderful son, and I know he's right there with you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, darling. God bless you. I will see you soon with the town manager on Talk of the Town. Thank you for tuning in.